What's up, everybody?
What's up?
Welcome back to Love and Rice Podcast with your host, Aunt Ma.
I'm Christina.
I want to say thank you to everybody who's been listening to our podcast. I think this is our 12th episode.
Already?
Yeah, so we're 3 months in. So thank you guys if you follow us on, YouTube, I was going to say Instagram, but yes, also on Instagram where we kind of break these down and show you little clips, but also on Spotify, Apple, Google, Amazon, iHeartRadio. Thank you guys for following on this journey so far. I've been loving these podcasts, and I can't believe we're 12 episodes in. Today, I want to talk about this viral trending list that's going all around TikTok, Instagram, and all the social media platforms. And it's a list where women refuse to go on their first date. And what this list is that I'm assuming this girl created this list, and then she had other women chime in and add to this list. So they came up with 28 places where they don't want to go on a first date.
That's a lot of places.
It's a lot of places,
Yeah.
right? And this list is so viral. And I want to talk about this because I want to know, if we agree or disagree with this and all those places. So if you guys have never seen this list before, I'm going to talk about the 28 places. Number one on the list is Cheesecake Factory. Then we got Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, Olive Garden, all kind of like similar restaurants, right?
Okay.
Then we got the movies, your house, any fast food chain, Buffalo Wild Wings,
That's so interesting.
Wingstop, Red Lobster, a buffet, IHOP, Denny's, the gym, church, Starbucks, coffee dates, ice cream dates, family functions, okay, movie night such as Netflix, Hulu, staying in and watching movies at home, somewhere that requires a long drive, bowling, nightclubs, hookah bar, a bar for just drinks. I mean, why else would we go to a bar? But then we got Waffle House, and last but not least, sports events. So these are the 28 places women refuse to go to. What do you think about this list?
I mean, I can understand some, but at the same time, I feel like it kind of really just it really depends on the people, right? Because like you said, like sports games, I think if you both share like a passion for something and there's like this super hyped game that you want to watch, like two teams that you guys really love, right? Like it wouldn't be a terrible first date because that's something that you can kind of bond with.
Yeah.
But at the same time, it really just depends. And some people like staying in and doing Netflix or whatever it is, like maybe they don't want to go out somewhere public and they want to just stay in, or some people want to like, I don't know, cuddle and do all their stuff.
So from what you're saying and from what I see on this list, a lot of the places are places where you might not actually talk that much or connect with someone on a deeper level, right? So like when you go to the movies, you don't talk
At
right?
all. Yeah.
Same thing when you're at home watching Netflix, right? And then if you go to a sports event, it's the same thing. You're bonding and connecting over the love you have for sports, but you're not connecting on a deeper level.
Yeah.
And it seems like that's what this is.
I think so. But then like if you're talking about movies, say for example, usually when I would go on movie dates, you would have a meal first, whether it's lunch or you're having dinner usually. And then after dinner, then you go to the movies. So I feel like having dinner before the movies is your way of getting to know each other and then connect like on a mental level, right? And then when you go to the movies, that's when you can kind of like see if there's a physical connection, if that makes sense.
Okay, so let's break this down. The first place to eat on the list that women don't want to go to is Cheesecake Factory. Okay. Now, I get it, right? It's Cheesecake Factory, but their food is really good.
I like Cheesecake Factory.
It's one of your favorite places.
Yeah, but I guess for me, if I were thinking about going to a first date, I feel like Cheesecake Factory is more of like a family place. Even though it's a nice restaurant, I feel like we didn't really go to Cheesecake Factory when we were first dating. And then it's more of a family friendly environment. So for us, we like going there because Their prices are reasonable. Their portions are huge. So we're thinking about trying to feed a family. But if you're going on a date, the vibe seems a little different.
I get it. On a first date. Well, I don't know about the vibes because the vibes at Cheesecake Factory is a little romantic. The lights are dim. There's fake candle lights on the table. You know,
True.
you got some Italian food. You got, desserts.
Yeah, I don't know.
It is have the romantic feeling when you're in there. It doesn't feel like family to me.
I guess I don't think I've ever been there on a date before, though. I don't like throughout my entire life. I've dated a lot, and I don't think anyone has ever taken me there for a first date.
So here's one of a problem that I see. If a girl asks me on a first date to go to Cheesecake Factory, I'm like, all right, I'm down. Let's
Yeah.
go. Because all I care about is going somewhere with you. I don't care where we go, right? But then the women, on the other hand, if I asked you on a first date and said, let's go Cheesecake Factory, how would you feel about that?
I mean, I would probably, I don't know. I feel like because we go there for a different purpose now. So if you were to ask me that like before, I feel like I would have maybe just chosen a different place.
You would
if
have
anything.
judged me?
I wouldn't have judged you. I feel like
You would have laughed at me?
No, I feel like first dates, you want to find like a smaller restaurant that's like more intimate and isn't so loud, doesn't have like a big crowd or a lot of people because you're there to like get to know each other, right? So, because every time we're at Cheesecake Factory, it's pretty loud. It's like being at a BJ's or like being at Applebee's, those places that were on the list, because those are places where people tend to drink. They have like bars and stuff. So it's kind of like a hard place to get to know someone.
Well, okay, so I feel like it's great to have a drink each on a dinner date, not to get messed up and pound beers,
But
and
to loosen up and open up more.
right,
Yeah.
to have more fun. But like, here's the other thing: when you're talking about your date of like, if you were to go to the movies, you want to have dinner first. I don't want to spend a lot of time at a nice fancy dinner place where the food takes like 2 to 3 hours for this whole experience.
Right.
Like, I might just want to go to Cheesecake Factory, and next door is the movie theater.
Well, see, then that would make sense though, because you're talking about convenience and like, hey, we can go here and then walk over here after. So
Right.
that would make sense to me also. But you know what? Like thinking about Cheesecake Factory, I feel like this list, it stemmed from a viral video that was going around everywhere. I don't know if you've seen it, but basically there was
I have not.
There was a woman, she was in the car, she was on a first date with someone, and he goes out of the car and he's going around to like open the door for her.
Yeah.
And she's sitting in the car with the doors locked, and she's like basically just recording herself, and she's like, we're at Cheesecake Factory, like he's taking me to Cheesecake Factory, like no, I'm not getting out of this car. And she was just like saying no to him.
I mean, right there, I would drop the girl.
Yeah, I felt like that was too much. I think if he was nice, like he
Yeah.
picked her up, drove her to the restaurant with him, he was polite, respectful, I think she owed him that much of respect to like communicate things with him.
I don't even think they should have even been in the car and gone that far. Like, if you are already judging someone like that, you are not even giving them the chance.
Yeah.
And there's already no connection to even want to go on the date. Where's the interest already?
Yeah, so that's what I was saying, because it seemed like they were doing well until he got to Cheesecake Factory, and then she saw it, and then all of a sudden she's like, no, like we're here. That's it.
I feel like if there's real interest there, the girl would ask, you would continue with the date and order your food, and you'd be like,
Yeah.
you know what? I'm kind of wondering why you brought me here, and see what the actual reason is. And then from that point, you can make your decision of you want to continue or not. You know?
Honestly, I feel like I'm such a chill person. So even if someone did take me to Cheesecake Factory for the first date, like I would have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Because like what you're saying, like I'm there for the company. I'm there to get to
Right.
know the person and to hang out. Like I don't care about the restaurant.
Here's something for all the women out there who are like this lady who didn't want to go to Cheesecake Factory
That
and
was
don't want to go to anywhere
horrible.
on this list.
Yeah.
Now, you got to ask the guy, why did you choose something on this list? Because I could be like, if this was a year ago, I would take you to Laurie's or Mastro's and enjoy a really nice $300 dinner.
Right.
But I could say, you know what, right now, with the economy, also, I just bought a house last year. I'm building an ADU. I'm doing all this work to my home. So, this is something that is, I'm just trying to make it work for us,
Right.
you know? And so if the girl can't realize that when the guy has like other priorities in his finances for his future, then it's like, if you don't ask, you don't know. And
Right.
that's actually might be a good catch to know that a guy has his financial priorities straight.
And that's also a good way for you to filter out people too, because if you have someone that's demanding for you to like spend a certain amount of money or to take you to a fancy place and they have all these like expectations of you, like it's great that they have these standards, but at the same time, if it doesn't make sense to you and the expectations are too high, especially like when you're still getting to know each other,
Yeah.
then you can just be like, oh, well, no thanks, you know, I'm not going to waste my time.
How old was this couple in the video?
I think they were probably like in their 30s.
Oh,
they
really?
weren't that young.
I see.
So that's another thing too, I would say, because
I get it.
younger me would be like, oh, Cheesecake Factory is not a cheap restaurant to go to.
Right. Yeah, it's like $15 to $18 dishes.
Yeah.
Which is a lot.
Yeah, no, it's way more than that.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, maybe 20 something. But younger me, I would have been like, oh, this is awesome, cool. But that's why I was also saying now that our vibe is so different. Like we have a family, when we go to Cheesecake Factory, we're like our expectations are a little bit different.
Yeah.
So I think it depends on the person, and it depends on like their age.
Okay. So would you ever go to any one of those first 5 restaurants? I think on the list it was so we got Cheesecake, Applebee's, Chili's, Chipotle, and Olive Garden.
No to Chipotle.
What if
That's like a fast food place. That's not an actual restaurant.
okay, but what if you're a fit couple and like you can't go to places like that? You know what I mean? Like Chipotle is great for the diet.
That's true. I mean, it
Right?
really depends on the people. You know what I mean? Like if diet is a huge thing, then sure. But I'm sure you can find other places.
Because think about the couple that needs to meal prep every single day. And then now they're splurging like, oh, let's just go to a restaurant. I don't want to meal prep. And Chipotle is like that perfect diet spot.
Maybe, but I don't know. Like all the other restaurants, I feel like I would be fine with going to. Like I used to love Olive Garden. That was like one of my
Yeah,
favorite
you
restaurants
love
all the
it.
time. Yeah. So if you took me to any of those, cool. But Chipotle, I would just say is more of like a casual place to go to.
Yeah, it's more like fast food.
Yeah. So even if I was like meal prepping and I was like, okay, well, I want to take the day off, I would still want to go somewhere where I can like get like a nice cooked fish or something that's
Okay.
still healthy, but
What?
at a restaurant.
What would you do if I took you to Chipotle for the very first date and the whole time you're a little bit mad and upset that we're there and we're like maybe 30 minutes into that restaurant and you're frustrated, right? And you don't think that you're going to continue this date. But then out of nowhere I say, I own this Chipotle. I'm the franchisee owner of
Okay.
Chipotle. Then what would you do?
Honestly, though, it wouldn't even get to that point because I feel like no matter what, even if I went on a date with someone and I wasn't feeling the vibe, I would still be respectful if that person was respectful towards me. And I would still go through with the date, make it seem like everything's cool. And it's not like, oh, I'm like resentful or anything like that where I despise you, but I'd be like, all right, this is cool. And then after the date's done, then it's kind of like, okay, well, I'm not feeling us. So, you know?
I feel like if you're young, you actually might be a little bit grateful going to these certain comfortable food spots that you're used to going to by yourself. So like, I would see, hey, is this like if it was vice versa and the girl's paying for the Chipotle and all that stuff, I'm gonna be like, I come here all the time. I'm gonna see if this girl pays for the avocado for me, for the guacamole. You know what I mean? Like, am I worth the guacamole for her?
Yeah.
So like those little things, those details, that might actually matter.
That's true. Yeah. But I feel like Chipotle is like more of a second, third, fourth date type of place.
To be honest, I think that is when you're comfortable in a relationship.
Yeah.
Not even fourth or fifth.
How
date.
would you feel if I asked you out to go on a date and I told you, hey, and I took you to Chipotle?
Well, okay, if you took me to Chipotle,
For a
I
first
mean,
date.
I really don't care because it's really about connecting with the girl. Like when a girl asks a guy out, they're so excited that a girl did that to them because it never happens. So anywhere you want to take us, we'd be like, hell yeah.
Really?
I just want to sit there. I just want to stare at you and let's just talk. And even though I'm used to, hounding down that food, I probably would only take a few bites because I'm too nervous. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But here are some other things is like, if we got the Chipotle to go and took it to the beach or a picnic.
Oh, see, that's cool.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
That's awesome.
there we go.
Yeah, so
So
it
like
really
there's different
depends.
intentions, right?
Yeah. So it just really depends. Like for me, I think the beach was actually one of my most favorite places to go, like for dates, because you get to go out there and you get to like get to know a person, and you can kind of like be romantic in a sense. And then you also just get to be at the beach. You hear the water, the sand. So even if we just picked up like In and Out or something quick too, I'd be like, oh, this is kind of cool.
Hey, In and
like a
Out didn't
picnic.
even make this list. That means girls
People-
love In and Out for the first date.
I get
don't
it.
know. But it does say fast food places.
Yeah. Like I wouldn't want to go to a McDonald's or Wendy's or Jack in the Box or any of those for a first date.
Next on the list, after those 5 restaurants, it's the movies and your house.
Okay.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it was what you were saying earlier. So like movies, like going to the movies, you don't really get to communicate and get to know someone on a deeper level because you're just watching a movie. It is more of like a physical aspect because you're watching the movie, you're somewhat bonding over it, but like in a physical way.
I can feel like the whole 2 hours of watching the movie, the guy's always like, should I put my arm around her? And the girls probably, do you guys think
I
that?
remember those times.
Are the
yes.
girls always thinking like, is this guy going to put his arm around me?
Yeah.
For 2 hours, right? That's
Yeah.
like, no one's even caring about the movie. It's just like this, trying to break that
You're
barrier.
nervous. Like you're just sitting there. You're like, is he gonna do something? Is he gonna try to hold my hand? Like, is he gonna get popcorn? Or like, if he gets popcorn, am I gonna want to eat some of it? How much should I eat? Like, it's all these little
What?
things. Yeah,
Really?
yeah. Because first days, right? Like you were
So-
saying, you would not be gobbling down your food. You'd like eat a little by little, right?
Right.
So for girls, I'd be like, should I share with him? Like, is that for us? How much
So
should I eat?
are you really waiting for the guy to make the move?
I think so, and it just depends. It really depends on the vibe. Like if I'm feeling it, then I'm like, okay, well, is he gonna be brave enough to put his arm around me, or is he gonna try to like make a move? What's gonna happen?
So like, how about right when we sit down in the movie theaters and we put the armrest up? Is that like a little too much from the very beginning?
I would say no, because it might scare some people away, but at the same time, it also kind of makes you feel more comfortable because you're like, okay, like it's not as serious or it's not as nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
So I think for someone to do that, it makes it more comfortable for me.
All right.
But see, everything that I said is all physical.
well, what
connection.
about the next one? That's your house.
Oh,
What if I have a really nice house with a really cool yard and like just a lot of cool things in the home?
what does that have to do? But it kind of seems like you're showing off on the first date rather than trying to like you're trying to show off and impress your date in that sense when it's like, oh, they shouldn't care about that stuff in the beginning. It should be more of like getting to know the person.
That's true.
And I think most girls stray away from going to someone's house because for guys, like the expectation might be like, okay, well, she's coming over. Like I might expect to go to like first, second, or third base, like having her here.
So
Is
it's
she gonna
just
stay over?
all the wrong thinking if there's a house situation.
Yeah, because I feel like first impressions matter a lot, right? So if I feel so much pressure already coming to this first date of trying to get to know you, but then also having the expectation of like maybe being physical with you, like that makes me uncomfortable.
I was just thinking of something, but you kind of debunked it already. I was like, what if it was at my house and I hired a private sushi chef to make us dinner? But then you're like, well, that's you kind of like showing off. Is it?
I mean,
That's kind of cool.
that's kind of a cool experience though, because at least there's that third person there.
Right?
So
Like-
it's not just the two of you.
What if I hired a hibachi caterer and there's a whole setup by the pool in the backyard
I mean, that's cool.
with like flames and torches, right? And this guy's like ding 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 ding, and like doing the little volcano on the hibachi
Oh my
set.
So that I think that's cool because you're actually doing it
With
you're-
effort, right?
Yeah, with effort, and it shows that you're actually trying. So
What if I was the chef and I made the food for you?
I mean, that's kind of cool too. But at the same time, I don't know if that's first date yet. I
Really?
feel like that's too like moving too fast. Maybe.
Really?
Yeah,
I'm doing too much, huh?
maybe a little bit.
Hmm.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So what I'm getting at is don't try to impress too much.
Yeah, just work into it.
Don't. Yeah. That's. Just be cool.
Yeah.
Right.
Because if you're doing that and you're like being the chef and all of this stuff, like where's the time to actually get to know each other?
Oh, it's after you make the food and then you
Oh,
you sit next to her and
I guess so. I don't know.
right, and she's like, "Oh my gosh, that looked really cool, but your food tastes like shit."
Oh, yeah. I don't know.
Then you can
Then
laugh
your first
about
date
it.
is over.
Oh my god. Here's the next thing that's on the list, and I feel like it's a little different because we live in Vegas. It says a buffet, and like if you're in LA, you have like hometown buffet places like that, like Golden Corral, right?
I
Sizzler.
used to love hometown buffet. I don't know why.
Well, it's great
kinda-
price. I mean, that's you go with your family. But
Yeah.
here in Vegas, we can go to Caesar's Palace and have a buffet.
Yeah, but most girls don't want to eat a lot.
Why?
It's too nerve-wracking. Like girls,
What if you love crab legs?
but then like so when you go on a first date, usually you are always like, "Oh, what am I going to order?" Like I have to eat like very carefully and neat and I don't want to like stuff my face. But when you're going to a buffet, you're like getting your hands dirty, you're getting all these plates of food. Like you don't want people to see that side of you yet on a
so
first date.
you don't want to look messy.
Yeah, you don't. I think that's being too comfortable because you can kind of see people's eating habits and you're like, dang, does this person eat like this all the time? So they're getting the wrong impression. But it's kind of also hard to get to know each other there too because you're like constantly going to get food. You're thinking about food over like the date in a sense.
I see. I thought girls didn't want to eat at a buffet because they didn't want to get too full in case they were to have sex after.
No.
Oh, that's not it?
No, I think for me personally, like I would never like because it's the first date, I would always just like eat a little bit. I wouldn't finish all of my food. But it also depends on how comfortable I am with the person. But I think I would always be so nervous to like scarf down my food. So I'll just eat a little bit until I'm good enough, you know?
That's true. Anytime I go on even the first few dates with a girl, eating is always so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
And it's like, I don't even think I ever want to bring a girl to a restaurant to eat on the first few dates.
What do you mean?
Because I'm not even going to eat. I just I'm like you said, I also don't want to make a mess and seem like sloppy in a pig.
Yeah, for a buffet, that's what I'm talking about. 'Cause
Even
you
for
get
normal food.
messy. Oh.
Like even if I'm eating like pho or something, I'd be like, I'll take a couple bites.
Yeah, I probably wouldn't get pho on the first day because you're slurping and stuff like that. Like I would get something else if I were to go to a Vietnamese restaurant.
I mean, it could be like a Michelin star pho place.
True. Yeah.
That'd be awesome.
Yeah. You would just eat differently for the first date.
I think if you're like a white girl, I would be like, hey, let's go get some pho. Because I want to see how this white girl can interact with Asians and if they would enjoy pho. Or not.
Why do they have to be white though? They could be anything else.
They
They
could,
try
but
not
that's
to.
just the first thing that came to my mind. I mean, and I don't like the first, because when I go eat pho with us, right, I see a lot of Latin families, Latinos eating pho now.
I just see that more
right?
often. That's so cool.
But
like you see the whole family.
I don't see that many white people eating it still.
That's true.
So that's why that was the first thing that came to my mind.
That makes sense. You're right. I was like, wow.
Something that stood out on this list for me was going on a long drive. Now, why is that bad? Somewhere that takes a long time to drive to get to. Because like, is it too much on a first date? Like, let's say you've been wanting to go on a date with this person for a long time.
Yeah.
Or like you've known this person for a year and you're just friends and now you're finally going on a date. And it's more deeper than that. So you have to go for a bigger first date. And it could be like a mini vacay, a 2-hour drive from LA to San Diego or something, and then you get a hotel and you do all these things. Like, why can't we do that?
I mean, I feel like a long drive to somewhere is cool because it gives you an opportunity to like get to know each other more. So I think that's great. But like a weekend thing, I feel like that kind of puts too much pressure, especially if you don't know the person. So say if you're driving far and it's like not working out and then you have to stay with them over the weekend because you committed to it and you're stuck, right? That's the only thing I would really think about.
Has that ever happened to you?
I would say yeah.
Really?
it was like a overnighter thing, and then I just wasn't feeling it. The vibe was just weird,
Where'd
and I
you
was
guys
like,
go?
to like the beach. It was like a beach, and then it was like a holiday thing. So it
Oh,
was like just stay there for the night, like
but
go on.
isn't the beach just like 30 minutes away?
I don't remember which beach that it was, but it was kind of like a supposed to be like a whole nighttime festive, a whole nighttime festivities thing. So it's like he had all these things planned throughout the night, and I was like, okay, might as well just stay there and then go to the beach the next day. But it was kind of weird already, and I was just like,
That sounds suspicious. That already sounds like he just wanted to get a hotel and then have you guys, do some,
yeah,
like he just wanted to get in bed with you, and that was the whole reason.
yeah, that's like the vibe that I got. And it's kind of weird because you feel like this pressure the whole time and you're like, oh no. And I think for a girl, you're just like, okay, so how is this gonna go and what's gonna happen? And you're just like constantly feeling that pressure and thinking
Yeah.
about it. So that's probably one thing that I mean, I guess that would make sense with what you're talking about because I probably wouldn't have done that again.
Yeah, I've had a similar experience. A girl asked me if I wanted to go on a trip with her.
Just you and her.
Well, at first it was just me and her.
Okay.
And it was a 3-hour drive, okay, to another state.
Okay.
And then all of a sudden she's like, hey, can I bring this other guy? And I'm like, what?
That's
Right?
weird.
So now I don't know if it's like we're going as friends or we're going as like because we're trying to create a bigger connection.
Yeah.
So I don't know the reason why a friend came along. And then so because this place is another state, we had to stay overnight. And then there's also this there's like a lake and this whole new town that we're going to. And at some point while we're doing our, activities of the day, the guy was like, hey dude, are you guys together?
It's just the three of you guys?
Yeah, it's just three
That
of
is
us.
so
And I'm
weird.
like, I don't know.
Yeah.
Like it's kind of, I was like, no, and he wasn't trying to get with her.
Oh.
So I don't know what the purpose was. And like years later, she was just like, we should have just went together, huh? And I was like, yeah,
that
we
is
should
so
have.
awkward.
But
So maybe she did it and then she kind of like freaked out a little bit and was like, oh, maybe I should just have another friend because I'm nervous.
maybe.
Yeah.
And then the other weird thing was like, we had this hotel room for the three of us, and there's just one big bed, right? And then she didn't want to share the bed, so she's like, you two sleep on the floor. And I was like, oh,
This
okay.
is
Like,
so-
I'm not even trying to get with her in the bed with a friend in there. It's like, we can be adult about sleeping on the bed together and not do hanky-panky stuff.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's so awkward.
So it was just such an awkward trip, and it was just a 24-hour trip thing. But the long drive one, like just like you said, it's just weird.
Well, no, it's not the long drive that's weird to me because I feel like that's actually really cool to get to know each other.
No, but yeah,
But the staying, okay,
Right,
like
it's all
driving
the
further
things
enough
that-
to have to stay over.
right, all the things that are attached to the drive,
Yeah.
is what's weird.
Yes.
Going to this new place with them that you don't know them that well, and then the sleeping part, and it's just, that's all.
Yeah, it's
weird.
too much pressure. Yeah,
Yeah, it's too much pressure. Like we don't know what's going on.
exactly.
Right.
You don't know how to act.
Yeah.
So
So that was probably one of the worst experiences I've ever had.
that's a weird one.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, so now we're talking about these experiences. What is the worst first date that you've ever had? Or even just the worst date you've ever had?
I can't remember. I know I've had a few, but then the only thing that just comes to mind for me is not even like a worst date. It was just like it just felt awkward because of the place that we went to, and it was actually on the list. And it was like going to meet someone at an ice cream shop. It was like a Baskin Robbins, and it was just kind of, it was weird to me because when that happened, we were in our 20s. So going to an ice cream shop and getting to know someone like in our 20s is kind of strange because it's like a family friendly place also. And then it's not like,
What if it was like Shave Ice?
I mean, that's a little bit different because you have more of like a restaurant vibe with those places.
Like-
But if you're talking about a Baskin Robbins where you're just getting like a cup of ice cream or a scoop of ice cream and you're sitting there talking to someone, and then like there's kids that are constantly going in and out like getting
Yeah.
ice cream, it's just kind of weird.
Yeah, yeah, I do see how it's weird where you each have your own cup of ice cream. and there's no connection there. Like if you had the Korean bingsu and like it was a big shaved ice with all this fruit and stuff, you're like, whoa, how are we gonna finish this? And now you guys have teamwork and you're bonding over this big bowl of shaved ice. I think that's a little different.
Yeah. And then we actually used to do that. Do you remember? Like we used to go to Guppies. They closed down, unfortunately, but that was one of my favorite places.
Yeah.
But we would go there and we would have a meal there. Like they had this really, really good popcorn chicken salad that I used to eat all the time. You remember that,
Yeah,
right?
you're the weirdest person because
What do you-
no
it
one
was so good.
ever orders popcorn chicken with salad mixed together.
It was so good.
To you only.
I hope we can find a place that makes it again. If you guys have had it and you used to love it, please comment below and let me know that I'm not the only one because
She's definitely the only one, guys.
it was so good. But then we used to do that with the meal, and then we would have the huge shave ice after, and that was another thing that we would bond over. So it's like bonding over a meal and then having that dessert afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very different.
Yeah. I don't think ice cream is a spot.
No.
So that was the worst for you, was going to Baskin Robbins.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it's the worst, but it was like probably one of the most awkward places to go to for first time to hang out.
I have 2 bad experiences that I can talk about here.
All right, do tell.
I would say one is definitely, this was a first date. I was 17. Okay. And the girl asked me to go with her to church.
Oh,
And it was a Catholic church. I'm not Catholic. So
Okay.
that was super weird. And in that church, when we got to church, she's like, this is my mom, this is my dad.
Oh, wow.
All this stuff. And I'm like, what is going on here? Why am I at church? Why am I meeting your family? Like, this is the first time we're going out together.
was this like supposed to be a date for you guys, or did she just invite you to go to church? Because I know a lot of people.
She just invited me to go to church,
Okay.
but it was literally the first time we went out together.
Like, did you guys go anywhere after, or it was more of like, hey, you want to just come to church? And
Before that, it was just church.
Oh.
Before that, it was just like she would come to my work all the time because I worked at the mall,
I
so
see.
she would be there all the time, and then we would talk on the phone all the time, and then all of a sudden it's church.
Oh, because I feel like a lot of people who go to church, they're very like deep into their religion, and maybe she
Which
felt
is
like that was a
fine.
safe place for you to go.
But I didn't understand what was going on with the Catholic Church.
Right,
It
because
was
you're trying
so-
to understand the religion, and then you're also meeting the family, so you're just like in a complete shock.
Yeah, I'm just like the whole time, just like, what is going on? So I'm not even focused on anything, but like this is just weird.
Huh.
Yeah. So that was the worst first date I've ever had. So never take anyone to a church.
You know, I met my first like serious boyfriend at church, and his dad was actually a pastor.
But it's not like that was your first date.
Yeah, that wasn't the first date, but it's just funny when you talk about church stories.
Yeah, so that's totally
I get
different.
it a little bit.
Another really, really bad experience I had was going to a rave as a first date as well.
Oh.
So-
Oh, as a first date.
I don't know. It's weird. It's like we don't go anywhere together. So this was the first place we actually went to together after months of talking.
Okay.
I think most of the dates were just, there were no dates. It was just connecting in a place. But it was just like, hey, there's this rave coming up. And it was like one of the massives.
Yeah.
And it's like, let's go together. And then our friends are going too. So we'll go with our friends. But it's like, I'm paying for her ticket, right?
And those tickets are not cheap.
Yeah, it's like $100.
Yeah.
And I'm excited to go, right? And then you're excited to get the right pills, right? That doesn't affect anybody, so everyone can have a good time. Like, you're doing all this research so you can have a good time and make it a great experience.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Like, so when we got to the rave, right when we got in, you know, like we're driving there, we're standing in line together there, you know, we get the ticket scanned for the both of us. And we're with my group of friends. And then right when we got in, she goes, hey, my friends are here too. I'm gonna go meet them up real quick. And I was like, what? I was like, but I came here for you.
Yeah.
And then, so it's not the fact that she was gonna go find her friends, that's fine. But the moment we got in there, it's like, whoa, it's a shock. Like if it waited like, at some point later on during the night, that's totally fine. Or
Right.
take me with you. You know what I mean? Like I'll go with you to meet your friends. But for you to be like, hey, I'm gonna go say what's up to my friends real quick, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
It's heartbreaking.
How long was she gone for? Because it sounds like that was her intent from the start.
I don't know if she even went. I think after that, she felt that I was like a little sad about that.
Okay.
So she stayed with me.
Yeah.
But then it made the whole night really bad.
Like the vibe was already off.
The vibe is
because
off from there.
of the
right?
tension.
So now you both drop, take your pills, right? And then you have a good time. And then this is now when you get into a deeper connection, right?
Right.
And so like all you want to do is just be with that person and talk to the person while you're rolling.
Right.
And so
I mean, I feel like most of the bonding comes from that.
exactly. And then so the fact that she didn't want to be with me the whole time while we're on this roll was weird. So I think I'm just like, okay, come here, come sit next to me. Let's have fun and whatever. But I think to her, she's just like, oh, he just wants me to be his eho. And I'm like, what? This shit is fucking weird. Like, why is it even getting to this point? Like it goes from like here to extreme, like 0 to 100 really fast. There's no in between.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of hard, especially when you're talking about raves, because I don't know if I've ever gone to a rave as a first date, because the vibes are just very different, because you're like super chill and you're there. Usually you're there to like hang out with like a group of people
Right.
and to be around other people and stuff. So I feel like maybe there was already a disconnect there.
I mean, she
because-
knows all my friends too.
True, but it sounds like you wanted to just hang out with her, but she
Right.
wanted to hang out with like everyone else.
Like her other friends.
Yeah, and
that
it
I've never
sounds
met.
like because of how the vibe went with everything, so her intent was probably like it almost sounds like she used you for the ticket, and then she's like, okay, cool, now we're in. I'm gonna go find my friends, and then she
Right.
felt the vibe that you're like, oh, what? So she stuck around, but it seemed like she felt like she had to stick around.
Right.
So I feel like she was using you for your ticket.
That sucks.
For the ticket.
Because it's weird, because it's not like everyone has $100 to go buy a ticket.
True.
In your mid-20s. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So-
but like girls, a lot of girls don't have to. Like I've had people buy my rave tickets for me before, and I wouldn't ask. I'll just say like, hey, oh man, this is so cool. Like I wish I could go, and then like guys would just be like, all right,
yeah.
here's your ticket.
I don't know. It's weird. This
be your
brings me
fault.
to another experience that I've never even thought about to right now. I totally forgot about this. This was so weird. So I met this girl at a club,
Okay,
got her number.
red
Okay.
flag number 1. I'm just kidding. Go on. I'm just kidding.
So this is a smart girl. She's like electrical engineer, all this stuff. Like,
Okay.
she's makes a lot of money, all this stuff, right? And this is our first date. She asked me to go to her house,
Oh,
and it's an hour away, and because it's an hour away, it's like we're probably gonna do overnight stuff, right? So
overnight stuff.
well, I wasn't thinking about that, but it was she's just like, come over, we'll hang out. And so when I get to her house, she's like, hey, let's go to my cousin's house. Yeah, let's go to my cousin's house and let's drop. This is a first date.
That's
I'm like,
interesting.
I would never do drugs with a girl on a first date, right? But it's weird that we then went to her cousin's house and we're in this like studio, and it's just him, me, and her, and then we all take a pill. And I'm like, and we're just chilling and talking and everything, and I'm just like, damn, dude, I can't believe I did this for a girl on the first date.
That's really strange.
It's strange.
Yeah.
Right? And then we go back to her place, like hours later. She sleeps on her bed and I'm sleeping on the floor. Morning comes, I wake up, she wakes up, and then she's like, who are you? I'm like, what?
What?
Yeah, she's just like, I guess the drugs got to her and she forgot, or I don't know. She's like, who are you? And I'm like, what? And I got so weirded out that I just left. I think if I gave enough time, she'd probably be like, oh yeah,
That
But
is so weird.
just that initial reaction, I was like, what the fuck? Like,
That's something that you would see in a movie.
yeah. So That was another bad experience.
Like my body is just like
Yeah.
cringing over that right now.
And I never talked to her ever again. So the fact that she
Wow.
made me do the drug, and then didn't remember who I was like, dude, this is
She must have
weird.
been really messed up.
Probably. I don't know. So do you have any better experiences than me?
You mean worse experiences?
yeah,
No.
worse?
No.
Yeah, they're all pretty bad, right?
Yeah.
So that's a lot about the past. I want to talk about something funny here. On this list, it says, what does it say? IHOP and Denny's. Now, where was our first date?
So I wouldn't say that these were first dates, but
Looking
but
back
this
at it, I
place
think it
was
is.
our first hangout place. And this is where we would go
Say it.
all the time.
Say it.
We would always go to Denny's.
Yep. I think Denny's was our first date.
We used to go there all the time.
Now, here's the difference, though. It's not Denny's breakfast at 10 a.m.
Yeah.
We're talking about Denny's 3 a.m., 4 a.m.
Right.
After she gets off work as a bartender, and then the only place that's open is Denny's.
Yeah.
You know, and I feel like those were our first dates.
I guess so. Because I felt like we started off like just getting to know each other and being friends first. And then that was our safe place to go.
Right. And then it's like, so I wait for you to get off work. And then now it's like, oh, you hungry? Let's go to Denny's.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, those are dates.
Oh, I guess so. That's true. And I didn't think anything weird of it. I thought it was cool because they were the one place that was open. It was close by.
I think because we were both buzzed.
Yeah, that too. It was the safest route to go. You know, we were being responsible.
But we're not thinking about any judgmental stuff because
Yeah.
we're buzzed.
Well, but we're also being responsible too. Because we could be going somewhere further, somewhere that's not close by.
Yeah,
But
it's literally around the corner.
exactly. So I think that's why we did it. And yeah, there was absolutely no judgment. And I felt like we enjoyed the food. The vibe was always cool because I think we were there for each other
Yeah.
and because we're hungry. But like I said, the food was good. So I don't see anything wrong with those places.
I actually feel like Denny's is a perfect spot because their food takes so damn long.
That's true.
It takes forever. And you're sitting there for like 30, 40 minutes waiting for your damn breakfast food.
Yeah.
And so that's a lot of time where you get to really connect and talk.
So I guess like it's cool if you go there for like a brunch date or something. That would make sense. But if you were to take me there for dinner, I'm like, oh, of all places, we're going to get breakfast food, you know? So that would kind of throw me off a little bit.
Okay. So what is your best date experience you've ever had?
Best date experience?
It doesn't have to be with me. It could be with anybody.
I haven't dated in a really long time.
Duh.
I cannot
We've
remember.
been married for like 12 years.
I know. But honestly, I can't remember.
Wow. So you didn't have any good first dates.
I mean, I'm sure I have. I just can't remember what they are.
I think one of our really good first dates was we did a gondola ride in Long Beach.
Yes.
That was very in the very, very beginning.
Yeah, that was cool. I think we had dinner and then we went on that gondola ride.
Yeah.
Or it was gondola ride and then dinner.
Yes.
Something.
At a fancy Italian restaurant in Long Beach. It was
Yes.
really good food. The gondola ride was awesome. Like it was sunset cruise type of
I think
thing.
that was like for Christmas time too or something. So that was like even more romantic because it was a holiday thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I've had a lot of first dates. I just honestly I can't remember a lot of them. But why can't I think
A
of
lot
it?
of first dates.
Well, I wasn't trying to say that I had a lot of first dates in that sense, but it was more of like I've had a lot of good first dates where I haven't had really bad experiences like you. Like I've had actually decent people try to take me out, treated me well, you know.
You know what? Thinking
That's what
about
I meant.
all the bad dates that I've had that I've talked about, they're all girls asking me to go on these dates.
Yeah, and
Not
that's
me
kind
bringing
of
them up.
weird. I feel like if they were asking you out and all the ways that those turned out, it seemed like they wanted something from you.
I don't know, but it's like, is it just because girls suck at hosting dates?
Uh, Well, I mean, usually girls wouldn't ask a guy out. I mean, I've asked guys out
But that's
to
how
hang out
much
before.
they liked me to ask me
True.
out.
True, but then the way that they
Like, do you ever ask guys out?
I have
And is it because you really like the guy?
that, or I just wanted to hang out, or I had free time or something.
Oh,
Yeah.
well, I mean,
Yeah, because I think girls see it more casually than guys do. Because it would,
but these are the girls where we would talk all day, every day.
yeah.
Only us two.
So maybe they would just get shy or something. Either they wanted something from you, or they would just get shy and they would be awkward. Right?
Yeah.
I feel like that does happen sometimes.
They don't know how to finish the game strong.
Yeah, like they'll take the initiative to ask you out on a date, but they're expecting you to take the initiative during the date to make whatever move you need to. Because I think I've actually been on dates, or I've been with people like going out with people.
Yeah.
And if I was the one who always had to initiate things, I didn't like it because I felt like they should be the one. Yeah. So if they didn't make any moves, they wouldn't be more aggressive in a sense. Like they're just like not doing anything. Then I would be like, okay, well, I'm not interested anymore. So maybe because you didn't make any moves, then they're just like waiting and they're like, all right, well, this is not going anywhere.
Well, I can't make moves because I'm on drugs.
Or you're with their cousin or another guy friend, which is weird. But yeah.
Oh, all 3 times it was either family,
or another guy.
or another guy.
Yeah. But I honestly feel like they did that because they
Didn't know what
were
to do?
nervous. Yeah. And that made it awkward for you. So you all didn't know what to do. And then that was it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's weird.
And usually if a girl wants to do drugs with you or something, I feel like they have like an end goal with that too. Like they want to be physical with you.
Well, yeah.
Right? But it doesn't happen because
No.
you're probably not making the move because you're weirded out by hanging out with their cousin.
I mean, even at the rave, I was trying to take the normal steps.
Yeah. But I think it started off bad already.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, wow. That brought up a lot in my past.
That's horrible.
Yeah.
I didn't even know about all of that.
I totally forgot about a lot of this.
Yeah, I feel like if I had bad experiences, I purposely forgot about them. So when you're asking me
Right?
about it, I'm like, I don't know.
Like, I mean, why would I ever bring these up to you?
Yeah, that's true.
While we're dating or in a marriage. It's
Yeah.
like, these are things that it doesn't even, they're just horrible. There's no point in bringing it up.
Yeah.
And so thank you to lists like these that brought up my past bad experiences.
I thought you were about to name the girls. I was like, don't do it. Don't put them on blast.
No. I almost forgot their names, but okay, I remember. But all right, so
All right.
before we finish this off, you have only your Baskin Robbins as your worst experience.
Yeah, because I think for those, it's like really just it stops at that first date. Like because the ice cream one, I specifically remember because I was like, okay, well, we're there and I already felt like the vibe was off. And in my mind already, like I went through with the rest of the like hangout. And, no matter what, I was always respectful. And then after, then it would just be like, okay, well, I'm going my own way now, you know? So I always went through with it. There wasn't always like no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going out with you because I don't want to be here.
Yeah, that's
and
just
stuff
a
like that.
horrible human.
Yeah. Yeah. So, that's why those don't stick with me because they're just like casual first dates where I was like, okay, well, I'm moving on. Like,
Yeah.
I'm just not feeling it.
All right. So guys and ladies, let us know what you think about this list and the 28 places. Write down the comments on, YouTube, even Spotify. You guys can write comments on there and let us know what you think about this list. You agree? Do you disagree? What are some of your favorites on here? I'm sure you guys have all these bad experiences or good experience on some of these places.
I do notice that one of the top places that people will go out on dates is like a coffee date.
Yeah.
That's been like the biggest thing right now. And I don't, I love coffee. Like, you know how much I love coffee, but I don't know. I feel like that's almost equivalent to like going out to get boba or something.
Right. Which is the same as ice cream.
True. Yeah.
Something like
I just feel like you're there, but then I don't know.
Well, you got to get it and take it somewhere else.
Yeah.
You can't just stay at that one spot.
Yeah, I feel like some people could just sit there and talk for forever. But you know
but
what?
do it somewhere else, more romantic.
Now that I think back about it, one place or any places that I do like to go is I would like to go on first dates with guys to like places like Dave and Buster's or places like I even like going to pool halls or like going to the bowling alley and stuff because
We did go to pool halls a lot.
yeah, and I like that because you get to know someone in so many different ways, and it also lets you know how a guy is in terms of like respect and like chivalry and like are they going to get too competitive when they play with you?
Yeah.
Are they going to let you win? Are they going to be a good sport?
Well, I should let you win.
Well, you have to try. You can't just like be so easy about it and not make the effort to play, but you could be slick about it and like maybe let the girl have the advantage.
I mean, if a girl sucks, she sucks.
Exactly.
There's nothing you can do
exactly.
about it.
So, I mean, that's fine. But then if you're playing with some guy and he's so competitive and he's just trying to beat you the whole time where it's not fun anymore, then you're like, okay, well, if this is how they are on the first date, then I don't want to continue. So I feel like that's a good type of environment to be in because you get to see how this person is in so many different levels compared to like just having coffee. You get to know someone and you're just like in this set, peaceful environment. You don't get to know them from like different areas and levels and stuff.
All right. So what is your ideal best dates that you would ever want to be in or go to? It could be something that you've never done before.
I used to want to go on like a hot air balloon because I would see how cool that it looked and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, just to see how it was and like bringing champagne and being romantic in there and like kind of seeing the city and stuff like that. I felt like that was a cool way before. Maybe that was the old school way of like getting to know someone.
Have you been on that before?
I don't think so. No, I have not.
So I have a secret. I've been on one before. I took a girl on one. It was my very first girlfriend and I was 18.
Oh.
And that's a lot of money at that time. It was like 300 some bucks.
Oh, wow. And how was that experience for you? Was that a first date or was it somewhere down the line?
I think it was somewhere down the line.
Okay.
But it was it's my first ever girlfriend.
Yeah.
So I was like, I want to do something really cool. And
is it worth the hype?
I think it was really fun. The reason why I don't want to do it again is because we pretty much crash landed.
Oh.
Yeah, like you don't land. Like when you go up, you're standing in this basket, right? And it goes up with the balloon.
Right.
And then when you come down, you're not just going to land back down in the basket. Like we ended up in some area where we weren't supposed to land. And then like the basket's crashing onto the ground. And we're like, oh, like, it's bad.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh,
Was it windy?
I don't think so.
Okay.
I mean, it might have been windy for the professionals, but to me, it was like kind of normal.
Okay.
But, it's in a place like Temecula where this is known for hot air balloons. And there's a bunch of other riders as well and, stuff like that.
So is that something that you would recommend on a first date?
No.
Okay.
No.
All right. But do you get to like be in there and like you have your champagne and you're like getting
It's after. Champagne is after.
Oh, so you can't have it on the ride.
And then like unless you're a baller, you're sharing the balloon with other couples as well.
I mean, that's okay though,
It is, but as a guy, you always want to have it private.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
But I don't know. I mean, we could do that now. This is like so long ago that I don't really remember much of a hot air balloon
Imagine
ride.
doing it with the kids. That would be so cool.
Oh,
they can't
I
even
don't
see
know.
over it. They can't even
I
see
don't
it.
know.
No.
It's too dangerous.
Okay. Well, from a guy's perspective, where would you say is the perfect first date?
The perfect first date for me to take a girl or that I would want to go on?
For a guy to take a girl that you would also enjoy.
I think, I guess I can only base off the experiences that I've had. And it might have been like the nighttime beach walks.
Okay.
Right? So like we've done a few.
Yeah.
Where it's like we just go at nighttime, we walk the beach. Or we go specifically for like Christmas boat parades.
Yeah, we did do that a lot.
Cool. Like I like doing something with a little bit of an event with the romantic.
Yes.
Right?
That would have been my other option. So I was saying the hot air balloon because I've never done it. But my all-time favorite dates would be going to the beach. So it's like
Yeah.
having dinner, maybe having dessert, and taking it onto the beach and walking it
Right.
and getting to know each other.
Yeah, and then in the middle of connecting, then you see the
Yeah.
boat parade with the Christmas lights and stuff. Like that's cool. The hot air balloon is like I'm freaking tired after, and then you smell dirty after because it's the dirt and stuff.
Gotcha.
So it's like by the time you get home, you're like, man, I'm tired.
Okay.
So it's a little too much.
But when you're in the beach, you feel more relaxed and stuff when you get back.
Yeah, exactly.
Something
it's more
about
chill.
nature.
You're not dirty. You just got some sand. But like hot air balloon is more like there's a bigger purpose to that event where it's like proposal or something,
Okay,
right?
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something
Okay.
way more fun. Birthday, whatever it is.
So it's more of an eventful thing rather than like a
Yeah,
nice date idea.
anniversary, stuff
Okay.
like that. It's not like the whole ride back, she's passed out because she's tired and then we all smell like dirt. Yeah, it's bad.
All right.
So, all right, guys. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. This was great. I learned a lot about myself and
Yeah,
past
I've learned a lot about
experiences.
you too.
But I don't know. I feel like this list, it's not all that bad.
It really depends, honestly.
There's some.
Yeah.
And we've been through some of these.
Yeah.
So
And I never had an issue with it. So it really just depends on the person and their standards. And
depends on the connection, I think.
yeah, if you have that connection and you share that same bond and you're going to be happy going to Wingstop together and,
Hey.
whatever.
All I know is that anybody who judges you for taking you to a place like this on this list, that's a red flag.
Yeah.
Like more than a red flag. That's drop it. Drop that person right away if they're gonna judge you.
And
If-
that's just the first date. So
Like-
it can get worse after
Yep.
that.
It's fine if they judge you in the beginning, but if they don't question why you're taking her here and then wanting to learn more about that and you, then there's a little bit of selfishness in there, and that's why I would drop it.
Yeah. And also, it's okay to have standards. That's totally fine. But you can let that person find someone that matches their energy and has the same standards, right? So,
All right, so you want to go to Chipotle or Denny's now?
Chipotle does sound pretty good right now.
All right, guys, I hope you enjoyed this podcast of Love and Rice. Make sure to follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Google, and iHeartRadio. I hope you guys enjoyed this full 1 hour episodes about the breakdowns. Let us know how you like it. Also, I think you guys have seen the changes, how we do our vlogs on Tuesdays and these 1 hours on Thursdays on YouTube. And let us know what you guys think about it. So until next time, we'll see you on the next episode of Love and Rice. Peace.
Bye.